let's do a quick crash course in the basic moisture meters we use in the drying industry. We use all the meters for the same purposes, to determine what is wet, how wet it is, how we're drying, and when it's dry. Infrared cameras or thermal imaging cameras work off the principle that evaporation causes cooling. They track temperature differentials in structural materials. They're really great at determining the perimeter of the wet area. Thermal hygrometers are designed to track temperature in your drying environment as well as relative humidity based off a percentage. Temperature gun. This tells us the surface temperature of a structural material. This will let us know whether or not we need to add an additional heat source to our drying environment. Surface meters are great at determining what's wet and how wet it is, but they usually only track up to 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch through the surface layer. Now let's take a quick look at some of the invasive meters in our industry. Some have insulated pins and some do not. The hammer probe is best used for driving invasive insulated pins into the wood or framing members such as base plates, layer by layer, in order to determine the different moisture content levels. A paddle meter, which is great for determining moisture content levels behind structural materials. Now, we use this invasive meter in order to determine the moisture content level of drywall. Another thing I like to have is extra meter pins in case one breaks in the field. And last but not least, we have an insulation meter. Okay guys, I want to make sure you remember and know that dry standard is different based on the job site and environment. So you want to make sure that your first step is finding that dry standard so you can determine if you're drying and when you're dry. Thanks for stopping by.